How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I have a video for you guys that isn't just focused on PVM stuff, and we're going to be going through things that I think that every player should have in their bank, items that are super useful for every single account. And while each and every one of these items may not be exactly useful for just you specifically, the majority of players are definitely going to have use for this. So hopefully, if you are missing any of these, maybe you can get yourselves them, you can work towards them, and maybe it will help you out in the future, which I hope it does. So if you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you are new. But other than that, guys, let's get into this video. So what I'm going to do is go through the things that I've written down here, and also I'm going to tell you guys how to get the item and also why it's good to have on your account. All of the items on the list may not all be like the most useful things for everybody. There'll definitely be plenty of things on here that you will want to get if you don't already have them. What I'm interested from you guys is get in the comments later on in the video and just let me know how many of these you had. There is 8 things in here, so like comment down below, even if it's just like 8 out of 8 or 6 out of 8. Let me know how many you had, or just let me know in the comments which items you did need to get and which ones you found quite interesting. Anyway, to start off, I'm going to go in any particular order, really, just random stuff that I wrote down in whatever order it came to my head, and I realized the first one is going to be the Grace of the Elves. This is a skilling necklace, and you can get it by actually just buying it on the Grand Exchange. I believe they go for around about 70 mil at the moment, which I would say is probably worth it, especially if you're someone who is working towards max and you have quite a lot of skills to go ahead and actually do. You can also make this by enchanting an alchemical onyx necklace, but I would just suggest buying it off the Grand Exchange. I'm pretty sure it's actually going to be cheaper to just buy it from there anyway than make it from scratch. And working out the actual prices, there's really not much difference in it either way, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Just buy it off the Grand Exchange if you are going to get one of these. But this necklace has a lot of uses. It is so damn good. So the first use you get out of this is while you are wearing it, prayer points that you are using for the serum prayers like Light Form, Superheat Form, and Chronicle Attraction will just immediately be cut in half. So you'll be using a hell of a lot less prayer when you do want to use those prayers. However, that's actually probably one of the lower uses of this necklace, and the main things that you will actually be using this for is while training gathering skills, which is basically where you're gathering any raw materials, so like wood cutting and fishing and archaeology, that sort of stuff. You will actually get a chance of getting a Seren Spirit appear while you are doing that. It gives you access to the rare drop table from skilling. What this means is you can actually roll on a Hazelmaze Signet Ring, which of course is a ridiculous price at the moment of about 2.5 bill. So not only do you want this just so you can do that and you can have that chance of that roll while you're doing any of your skilling, it also gives you the access to the rare drop table, and it'll just give you drops throughout the day. As you do skilling, a Seren Spirit will appear, you'll get a little message on your screen, and you can just click on that. You don't have to like stop doing anything, you don't get interrupted, you just click on it and your stuff will get sent to the bank automatically. It'll tell you what you got, it'll go to the bank, and it's just an easy way to increase the amount of money you're getting. On top of that, you can actually put Signs of the Porter in this thing as well and charge it with up to 500 charges, basically meaning that this is a sign of the porter that you don't have to have in your inventory. You can wear it and you've got 500 charges of that. What Sign of the Porters do is as you gather stuff, it will automatically bank that. So if you want to AFK archaeology, this is an amazing thing to have, because anything you do get while you have this worn will go directly to the bank, saving you a lot of time not having to bank all the time. Honestly, this is an incredible thing to have if you're going to be doing skilling. Finally, you can use a necklace to teleport with the Max Guild Garden portals. I use this a lot. If I'm going to like the Invention Guild, you can set those portals to places like the Invention Guild and the Deep Sea Hub, which is where you do your daily merchant, and you can actually go there directly from the Grace of the Elves teleport once they're directed. Just right click the necklace, click teleport, and you can pick which teleport you want to go to. So for anyone who does have quite a lot of skilling left to do to be able to get to max, or you just do quite a lot of skilling anyway, this is definitely going to be something that you want to get your hands on, because it is helpful in so many ways. Next up, we have a pretty big bank space saver, and it's called the Gizmo Back. You can get this in a small, medium, or large version, and what it allows you to do is once you've made gizmos for your perks and your armor and your weapons, stuff like that, you can actually store them in here rather than in your bank directly. Gizmos can take up a lot of space in your bank, so it's definitely useful to have one of these to save that space. The small version can hold up to 10 items, the medium 15, and then the large can have 20 as well. You are going to need to have 95 invention to use the small one, and then it's going to be 118 for the medium and the large. To actually get it, like I say, you're going to need to have that invention level, but also you're going to want to go to the research table in your invention guild, research the small gizmo bag, and then gather the required parts and use that to actually make the gizmo bag. After that, you're going to be upgrading it, which doesn't actually need anything else other than researching the medium one, bring in your small one, and then some extra parts for other stuff as well. But personally, I end up with quite a lot of random gizmos just sat in my bank sometimes, and having this is just so damn freaking useful. Considering how much bank space I have already, having them in this bag is so much more useful than having them just sat around my bank, because it just would be full 24/7. It would be full all the time. So I hope this one helps you guys save some space. It's definitely worth grabbing. It doesn't take too long to get. It's not that expensive to get either. So if you are running a little bit low on bank space and you have some gizmos you don't want to throw out just yet, this is definitely a useful item for you. The next item is one that I've mentioned in a past video, but it's something that I know a lot of people still don't know about, and it's the Spirit Cape. The Spirit Cape is an item you get from Dungeoneering, and it does cost 45,000 Dungeoneering tokens. It also requires level 50 defense and 50 summoning and 50 Dungeoneering to use. However, once you've got it, you don't need to do anything with it other than chuck it in your bank and keep it in the bank. What it does is it will reduce the actual special move cost for all summoning familiars by 20%. This will definitely help in PVM, as it will mean that when you get to a boss, the familiar you use, which is probably going to be a Ripper Demon, will be able to use its spec more often. It will cost less of its special attack, which also means that Spiritual Prayer potions will also go a lot further as well, because to use that special attack, it uses 20% less of the actual special attack bar. So not only will this cape actually improve your kill times at certain bosses, it will also actually save you money in the long run as well, seeing as you don't have to down quite as many Spiritual Prayer potions as you would normally if you didn't have this just chilling in the bank. Like I say, you don't have to have this equipped. It's just something that the passive effect will always be there. It will always work as long as you have this in the bank. That is absolutely it. It's definitely worth picking up, especially if you do quite a lot of PVM and if you use summoning familiars with scrolls for a lot of skilling as well. Next up is going to be the big Ring of Death. Ring of Death is something that probably most of you guys do have already, but for you guys that don't, getting a Ring of Death once your death costs get higher than around about 300k, 400k now I believe, is absolutely worth picking this up. Basically what it's going to do is when you die, rather than going to Death's Office and paying for your items, you will just use some charge from this ring, which is charged by using cut onyxes on it, and when you do actually die, you will just be sent back to your last respawn point, which is usually the last major city that you visited. To get the ring, you can just buy it off the Grand Exchange for around about 80 mil at the moment. This could go up and down, but it won't go too far from where it is now. But for anyone who is learning PVM or getting into PVM, or even probably does any PVM whatsoever and does actually have a chance at dying, maybe you're just not a pro just yet, then this is definitely still worth using. Anything where your death cost is above 400k, I would get this ring and I would use it. If you're using the new rings, then happy days, that's fine, but just keep in mind that you will have a higher death cost. But this ring is worth using absolutely anywhere that you are above 400k in death cost, because with the current prices of onyxes, of course you'll have to check this at the time if you are going to buy one, but the current prices of onyxes, to actually die using this ring, it costs around about 350 to 400k GP, and of course that is a hell of a lot cheaper than dying with items like the tier 95s or essence of finalities on you and then end up having to pay about 10 mil. So definitely something to keep in mind. If you don't have one of these, you'll probably want one at some point. Everyone's got one of these towards the end game PVM, because especially when new bosses come out and you're practicing new bosses, this is the ring you want to be using. Next up is an item that I didn't really pick up for quite a while, to be honest, and I really don't know why. It is the Ancient Elven Ritual Shard. Now, for you guys that don't know what this does, it is basically a prayer equivalent of the Enhanced Excalibur. What it's going to do is it is going to restore your prayer points by 37.5% of your max prayer points over 30 seconds with a 5-minute cooldown. It is pretty much exactly the same as the Enhanced Excalibur, except it does prayer rather than health. This is a super useful item for PVM as well, but also things like Slayer. Anywhere that you need prayer, anywhere that you want to save a little bit of prayer points, or that you want to be able to AFK a bit, this is super useful. Again, you can buy this off the Grand Exchange. It doesn't cost too much, around about 10 mil I believe, and I would say this is absolutely worth it. If you're going to use this for things like Slayer, or if you're going to use it in PVM and it is going to save you prayer potions, it will pay itself off pretty quickly, I'd say. Eventually you're going to have used this and save yourself enough prayer potions, super restores, spiritual prayer potions, all that sort of stuff. Over time you'll save that money on those, which will pay back the value of you actually buying this, and then of course after that you've got it forever, so you'll end up saving yourself quite a lot of money. It's definitely worth using, especially for things like Slayer. It's so damn good there. Not to mention it doesn't share a cooldown with the Enhanced Excalibur, so you can use both, so you get prayer points and you can also get health back at the exact same time from both of these. This is definitely an item that you can get a hell of a lot of use out of. I still use mine today and it has absolutely saved me more money than I spent on it. Next up, the item that I'm going to talk about is a little bit more difficult to get, but it's definitely something that is going to be useful in the long run, especially for people who like to do Slayer or AFK any bosses and stuff, and it's going to be the Advanced Gold Accumulator. To get this, you're going to need 1.5 million Dungeoneering tokens. It's quite a lot. It's not just a little bit. However, what this item actually does is it will automatically add any coins that are dropped to the ground to your money pouch. This is insanely good for AFK in places like Dark Beast or any sort of God Wars 1 bosses that actually drop gold gold as well that you wouldn't normally pick up. But if you bring this with you, it will add them all to there with 0 effort, and it will add up eventually. However, it does take 10% of the coins dropped as an actual fee, kind of. It destroys 10% of those, so you won't get that, but you're not going to notice it that much, especially seeing as most of the time, this is actually just going to be something that will be helping you pick up the coins that you wouldn't normally even pick up. So again, if you're someone who does quite a lot of Slay, if you like to AFK places like God Wars 1, I use this quite a lot at Kriara if I ever go there, then this is a item that you want to have. Like, it will take a long time to get the 1.5 million tokens, but if you do a lot of Slay, if you do a lot of AFK, this is going to pay that back in coins, and it's going to be something that is super useful. It's a nice quality of life item to have, and I would absolutely suggest getting one. If you're like me and you're too lazy to use the area loot to pick up those coins every freaking few minutes. So it seems like all these items now are pretty much just from the Dungeoneer reward shop. The next ones after this is going to be as well, and so is this one. The one I'm going to talk about now is the Charming Imp. Most people will have this, but for any beginner players that are watching at the moment trying to get some tips and stuff, the Charming Imp is something you do get from Dungeoneering as well, and it is 100,000 Dungeoneering tokens. You can get this pretty quickly if you get into a group and do things like the token farming in either ED1 or ED3, killing just the bosses and then teleporting out, killing the bosses, teleporting out. This is the mini bosses, not the actual big bosses as well. I'm sure people will know about this if you ask about actually getting a group together. However, what this does is it will automatically pick up charms and place them in your inventory. This is incredibly useful for when you're trying to get your summoning up. You're going to need charms, and picking them up is a pain in the ass sometimes. But you can AFK at places like Water Fiends with this, and it will add those charms to your inventory while you watch like Netflix or anything else. Go and make your dinner, have a coffee, or whatever you want to do. And when you come back to your computer, you will have more charms without any effort whatsoever. All you need to do is make sure you stay logged in and don't die. However, once you are done with that, once you have all of the charms that you could possibly need, you can set it to consume the charms as well, which probably isn't worth doing, but at the same time, if you're not going to be using them ever again anyway, you can set it to consume the charms and just turn that into direct experience as well. So this is definitely something you want to get. I would say most people who went for 99 summoning probably did pick one of these up, because it is going to save you a lot of time trying to pick up charms, and it'll make actually charm gathering a hell of a lot more AFK. Like, not even just more AFK, it will make charm gathering like fully AFK. So definitely worth picking this up. It is an item that I would suggest almost everybody does get. Summoning is an ability that everyone will want to level up at some point, so there's no harm in getting this, and obviously the sooner the better. You need 21 summoning and 21 dungeoneering to get it, so really not that high requirements. It's definitely worth doing. Alright, last but not least, we have the Demon Horn Necklace and the Bone Crusher. You're going to want to get these from the Duel Arena reward shop as well, surprise, surprise, like I said. You're going to need a total of 69,000 Dungeoneering tokens to get this, which isn't really that bad whatsoever, considering that the Charming Imp is 100,000. So this is definitely pretty damn cheap. Now, what this is going to do is you can set the Bone Crusher to automatically bury any bones that you do get as soon as they actually drop to the ground. This will give you prayer experience once that happens, so it's kind of useful to have. But pair this with a Demon Horn Necklace, which basically, while you have the necklace equipped, whenever you bury bones, you will get prayer points back, depending on what level bone you did bury. For example, if you bury like a dragon bone, you will get 150 prayer points back. But the reason that you want these together is the Bone Crusher will bury the bones for you, the Demon Horn Necklace will automatically convert that into prayer points, and you can use this to come like completely AFK anywhere that you can use Soul Split, and you do actually get bones as well. A great example of this would be again in God Wars 1, where you can kill the bosses, and as soon as they die, their bones turn into prayer points, and you can just keep going. You just keep Soul Split on. It is not a problem whatsoever. This is usually enough in a lot of places to actually keep your Soul Split up. Sometimes you may have to use a prayer renewal when you're pairing it with something like your tier 99 curses, for example, but it is definitely worth grabbing. You're going to use this a lot for Slay, you're going to use this a lot for AFK and stuff. I use it for Turoffs almost every single day whenever I go and do my farming there, and if you trust me, this is definitely something that a lot of people will grab out of their bank every now and again, because it has a lot of use. Not only does this make things AFKable, and you don't even have to worry about your prayer, but what it also does is it will save you quite a lot of money in the long run as well, because drinking prayer potions, drinking things like restores and stuff, it's expensive, so it does end up adding up eventually. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video, guys. I hope that there was some stuff in here that was pretty useful for you to find out about, and I hope there was some stuff that you didn't know about. Let me know in the comments, how many of these do you already have? How many of these do you need to work towards? Let me know which ones as well. I'd be very interested in finding out which of the least popular items out of these, pretty much. Anyway, like I said, I hope it did help. If it did, make sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I just want to say thank you to the channel members for supporting the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing, and seeing so many of you join up recently has been absolutely great. So I really appreciate that. And if you are interested in joining the channel members, anybody else, click the join button by the sub button. You can get some perks while you support the channel as well, like early access to videos and other stuff like that too. So do give that a click, see what you can get out of it. And if you're interested, then you can join up as well. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.